Alright guys, welcome to the video today. So I've wanted to make this video for a long time, and it's essentially just discussing whether or not Blink is useful at all and whether or not it's usable in PvP. Blink was known as arguably the best movement ability available to pretty much everyone in year one. Blade Dancers and Void Walkers both using Blink were very common in year one, and it was mainly, I think, by the vast majority of the community, it was considered overpowered. And what ended up happening with that is, complaints were made and complaints were filed, and what happened was in Taken King they nerfed the crap out of it, mainly referring to draw speed and the actual animation. So it's a lot easier to track people out of Blink than it was in the past, and it's pretty much just been underground ever since. No one has really heard of people who use Blink. People ask me all the time, like when I used to play Void Walker a lot, like, hey, why aren't you using Blink, man? It's because Blink for the most part is pretty trash. You can get away with using it, and yes, it is usable, and for the majority of players who might play with a last word or a sniper, it might actually be useful. But if you're actually using it for IS Luna shotgun, Thorn shotgun, whatever type of loadout you have with a shotgun, it's always going to be your worst bet possible. All the movement abilities available to both the Void Walker and the Blade Dancer are super good movement abilities. You have increased control double jump for Blade Dancers, which is super good for shotgunning, as well as focus burst on Warlock. Obviously, Warlock also have some of the best movement in the game for shotgunning. So there was like a lot of available substitutes, right? So nerfing Blink wasn't the hugest deal, because if you played a Blade or if you played Void Walker, you're pretty much set, because you could just switch to those movement abilities and you'd be fine. But I feel like Blink is one of the most fun and enjoyable movement abilities to ever use in Destiny, and the main inspiration for me making this video is something that I've kind of swept under the rug and I haven't really thought about making a video for. But today in Trials, when I was streaming, some of you may have been there, but me and a clanmate of mine, Inspire, we were playing Trials and we just thought out of nowhere, let's use Blink. And it actually ended up going really well, and I feel like the usefulness of Blink can be dependent on the map. If there's certain areas where blinking up in the air is actually a good thing to use, then it might work out a little bit better for you on that map than it would on other maps. One thing that I did notice is that you can't blink at people with a shotgun. It's mainly useful if you're blinking above people. So if someone is challenging you from below you or whatever, and you need to get out of there quick, if you blink straight up in the air and then look down, then you have a good chance at shotgunning them. But then that leaves the issue. If we're only using this and the only advantage of using Blink is so you can blink straight up to get above people, then that's pretty much the same thing that double jump does, except for less efficiently. So with Blink, it's super fun to use, it's super enjoyable, but is there really an actual point of using it? Another thing to note is that when I was using Blade Dancer, I felt so much weaker when I had Blink on. Blink is really useful when you're trying to run towards people, but most of the time if you're just double jumping off the ground and swiping, you can go a lot faster anyways. It is better for getting around people. Maybe you have a shotgunner that's ready to shotgun you, you can kind of outplay him a little bit better using Blink. But actually getting towards people, I feel like, is really hard with Blink. And like, just to put it into perspective, if we're talking about like in a Destiny tournament, right, and you have the 6 contending players, right, so 3v3 finals of a tournament, if you give one player on each team Blink, so let's just say one of them's a Blade or one of them's a Void Walker, you have one of those on each team, right, and you give them both Blink. The people with Blink, I guarantee you, 99,000 times out of 100,000 times, they're going to be doing the worst on their team. And it's just the simple fact that Blink is not a good movement ability. You have no functionability while you're in midair. Originally in year one, you could do a few things in midair, like if you drew out of your Blink quick enough, then you could draw out your shotgun or your primary or whatever, and it would work out. But now it's like there's really no point of using it. And I don't know, I'd like to see a buff in the future. I feel like having Blink in the game and having it being relevant would be a good thing, and it would really freshen up PvP. If you can imagine having, like, similar to year one Blink, I don't want it to be the same thing. I think we should add or maintain the current tracking system, so it's still generally pretty easy to keep track of the player that is blinking at you, but at the same time we shouldn't be affecting draw speeds on a sniper or a primary, because that wasn't the problem. People really only complained about Blink shotgun, it wasn't just Blink as a whole. So I think changes need to be made. The main draw speed effect should only be on shotguns, in my opinion. Currently, it's a fun ability to use, not one I'd recommend to anyone getting into the game, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of as an ending statement, yes, Blink is usable, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to provide you with anything better than you'd already have in either Focus Burst or increased movement or increased control while you're jumping. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Do you think Blink should be buffed? And if it should be, how should it be buffed? Do you agree with me? I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.